What I want to talk about this morning is the concept of Rei, Ma, and Kokorozashi. Kokorozashi is a Japanese word. And what Rei, Ma, and Kokorozashi is in Japan, when two businessmen meet each other, or anybody meets each other, they bow. And it's the bowing process that is called Rei. And what happens is, I meet someone, the distance between the people is the length of a katakana sword, and I'm aware of my gender. Males stand like this, females stand like this, and what happens is you bow down. And you bow down in service of the spirit that lives inside the other person. So the idea is, I'm bowing down in service of you, I trust you, and I honor you, and I respect you, and Thomas, for you, this bow is for you. Konnichiwa, or genki desu. I hope you're enjoying the training. Because what happens is when two people bow, you start to create what's called the mass space between the two. Now the mass space is the energy that is created when two people greet each other, or when you can see two lovers in a restaurant, you can see that, you can read the relationship, you can kind of, oh, those two are in love, look how they're looking at each other and they're looking into each other's eyes. Or those people, their relationship's kind of dead now, sitting in a restaurant, both couple are just kind of working on their cell phones. That is called mass space. Now in Japan you've got 128 million people living on top of each other. So my behavior will impact the mass space, and I need to be aware of that. So if I play my music too loud, or I do something, whatever, it's going to impact my neighbor. And at the end of the Second World War, after the Americans had dropped the atomic bomb on top of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, what the emperor decided to do was to change the mass space of a nation to rebuild the nation. So in Japan what happens is everybody works for Japan, and Japan would then, the corporations work for the country, and the families work for the corporations, and the families look after the workers that work in the corporations. So for example, when I worked at Daiwa Securities, which was the number 2 bank, it would never take on Nomura Securities because they were number 1. And it just doesn't work like that, which is very different to Western thinking. Western thinking, the nail that's sticks up gets selected. In Japan it gets hit with a hammer. So what we want to be looking at is what the mass space is between us and our clients. So the mass space of Japan went to rebuilding the nation. And now the third thing that I want to talk about now is Kokorozashi. Now Kokorozashi is what your soul's purpose is, why you were put on this planet. Now for me, when I was working in IT and working in banking, I was very good at the IT side of things. What I did and what motivated me to stay there was the money. It's a good job and I'm paid well, but it didn't fulfill my Kokorozashi. What fulfills my Kokorozashi is helping people, educating people, training people around recovery and addiction, because I was such a fucking drug addict that I just loved taking drugs. And then when I got into recovery, I just loved recovery, and that has been my Kokorozashi. So I've tried to create my life now, instead of going from a top-down approach, which is, get the job, get the money, and then find happiness, but much rather to find out what my Kokorozashi is, why I'm here, that I can then put myself into the mass space that's going to feed my Kokorozashi, and then when I meet people, can I set up and create the type of container or the mass space to fulfill my Kokorozashi. So this is what I'm trying to teach you today, Thomas, is I want you to think about what is your Kokorozashi, what gives you purpose, what gives you meaning, and once you kind of have an idea of what that is, you start to create an environment which is going to be supportive of that, and you move forward. And this is what you're going to be doing in your coaching conversations. A lot of contracting and creating the container is setting up a mass space to get curious about what your client's Kokorozashi is. You then hold them accountable to fulfilling their life of purpose in a respectful, meaning, loving, compassionate, don't do no harm way. Okay, mate, have a wonderful weekend. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll talk soon. Okay, bye.